welcome to One Stop Co-op Shop. With Steve here with Canje and Bairnt.
I don't know about that timer, Steve. I don't know about that. It's like we're talking a little bit. So we're gonna go. I'm like, okay, all of a sudden, Stoic Bairnt.
Bairnt was showing us his really cool miniature he painted, and it's like, oh, this is really awesome. Oh, we got 2 seconds.
Put down, sit still. Deer in headlights, let go.
The going rate is as soon as the timer clicks, someone has to yell your name. It's just going forward.
Oh my gosh, that was awesome. That had to be one of my favorite little quips you guys have ever done. That was amazing.
Oh, so good. Okay, welcome to One Stop Co-op Shop. This is our co-op chat, our live chat where we focus on different topics, board games with a cooperative slant. It is wild and crazy generally. We have fun with this chat. So I see a lot of people here. You see Dan and Yen, Snow. So welcome everyone. Thanks for being here. So
you guys are all amazing. Every one of you in the chat, thank you so much for joining.
Hashtag don't die.
Oh wait, wrong string. No. Right string. Wrong time.
That's right. Later today.
Sure. Yes. Hashtag don't die will happen.
Okay. Oh, I'm jealous, Snow. I want to visit. I want pudding with blueberries. Sounds amazing. Oh, yum.
Pudding with blueberries?
Yeah, that sounds amazing right now.
Okay.
So
Breakfast sounds amazing right now.
I said food. Food sounds amazing.
Put it in my mouth. I'm hungry. For those of you that don't know, usually our co-op chat begins with me waking up 15 minutes before the chat starts and hope that I get everything set up and on before we even go. So
there you go.
I had breakfast 8 hours ago. Nice.
Snow, we were just talking about this. Where are you located?
I forgot.
Like I know you're in the EU.
It's like Denmark or somewhere like that, or no, it's like Greece or something. Or I'm totally wrong.
Okay.
Am I right? Let's see.
I got about one in Czech Republic. Okay, cool.
Oh, the Czech Republic. That's right. I've been there so many times.
Have you? No.
Prague so many times. I lived in
Poland.
We're
talking about Bling.
No. I lived in Poland for 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
I lived right on the border of the Czech Republic. I've been to the Czech Republic so many times. You know, the Czech Republic is amazing. I bought lots of crystal from there. I've seen Prague like multiple times. It's gorgeous. Prague is like one of the greatest cities. So here's your historical fun fact, because we're talking about Bling. Prague and Krakow in Poland. Those are the 2 cities actually that weren't really affected by World War II as much as the other ones, because apparently Hitler enjoyed the cities so much he said that he didn't want to bomb them. He just asked the citizens to surrender, and they did. So that's why it's like they're actually held up pretty well, and they're gorgeous cities. I recommend anybody who's been to Poland or to Czech Republic to go visit those.
And then you can they say Prague is dirty, so
that's too bad. I liked it. I'm coming to visit you someday. I can speak a little bit of Polish. That's about it.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, we're here to talk about a topic. This came up in one of our Discord chats earlier this week. I thought it would be a fun one to discuss. Is bling, and more importantly, unnecessary bling. So bling is something extra you can add to a game. It doesn't come. It could be a
Etsy.
Etsy's a perfect example.
Etsy. Just go on Etsy and search any board game you have. That's bling.
Yeah, that's a good one. Good example. Would you consider, I guess, a Kickstarter deluxe version bling if it comes with it, or bling is something extra you add?
You add it on the Kickstarter. It's more than the core. That doesn't intrinsically have.
Yeah, neoprene mat, for example.
That doesn't intrinsically add anything to the game.
Okay, I can see that. I was like, I would actually just think anything on Etsy is bling, and like what you get in the game is like what they plan to do.
Well, but Etsy is bling to that stuff. You bling it out. I think like in the game though, if you do a Kickstarter, if you buy, like for instance, blinging out something is Spirit Island. You buy the game, you get the stuff. Mm-hmm. Then you go on Etsy and you buy the neoprene mat. You buy the upgraded meeples, the deluxe upgraded things from the box that is extra. Mm-hmm. You change out the what do they call it? The invaders from their things that come in for actual stylized minis. That's blinging it out.
Minis never bling a game.
you
Minis are
change
just
that.
needed.
Yeah.
Minis are needed, and Robin is wrong.
Yeah.
They're needed.
You can't use the word need when you talk about bling or board gaming in general. You don't even need the board game. If you want.
Yeah,
so in the board game
I wish
space,
you
stop
could turn
using the
him
word
off.
need. You don't need any of it. You don't even need the board game.
He's hurting my soul,
I screwed
Steve.
up with the
He's
title.
hurting my
That's
soul.
unnecessary on there.
Turn his camera off. He's hurting my soul. Oh wait.
Well, when people say the stuff about like, well, you don't need that bling, I was like, well, I don't need the board game.
That's true. Yep.
So need is subjective. So therefore, in board gaming, you don't need anything. You want.
This is a luxury hobby.
It's a luxury hobby.
Yep, you don't need any of it. So
I thought it was one of the like 4 things you need to survive.
was it
food, water, shelter, and board games.
Food, shelter, and board gaming.
But yes, no, getting to
clothing, food, shelter, board games.
Getting to the crux of this is kind of where I land on. Is I agree with you completely. Snow is the unnecessary bling is the one that doesn't function or obtrusive. For me, it is the obtrusive part of it. Like, I'm okay with bling that's non-functional as long as it is as functional as whatever it was in the original state.
I think so. I'm the only one who.
Hey, Marcelo.
So today I initially said when we talked about it, and I've been going for the whole time. I said there's no such thing as unnecessary bling, and Steve proved me wrong in like 2 seconds. But before he proved me wrong, I agreed with kind of it becomes subjective. It's what enhances the game for you. If 10 billion minis instead of tokens rings your bell, then you bling out your game and it gets it to the table more often and you enjoy it.
Yeah.
I will say that we're missing 2 people for this chat that are crucial to the argument.
Who's that?
We are missing I will use anything to represent anything, Mike. And we're also missing I have more bling than Kirk Cousins does on an airplane dancing around Colin. Those 2 are like the polar opposites of bling when it comes to the way things work. Colin, like he always has upgraded everything for every one of his games. He's a bling master. And then you got Mike, who's just like, well, I'll just throw this like, let's hear. I'll use this as my guy. I don't need anything else. So it's interesting what people. I shouldn't say we're going to use the word need, and we've already talked about how it's not really needed, but it's interesting what people need for their games to make them like. I shouldn't say more enjoyable, but more aesthetically pleasing, and I think that's really what bling does more than anything else. And
Marcelo.
I really think that anything that kind of replaces anything cardboard is usually bling wise. Would be probably the most least intrusive of it. When it starts going past that is when you start getting a lot of control. Like, for example, I've got these little engine pieces that I got from a community member. He for Nemesis. You can put your engine things in here. So now it's not replacing the cardboard piece. It's just a physical aesthetic piece. So this would be considered bling to me because this isn't replacing anything I already have in the game.
Do you have the cryo chamber too?
I got this from a community member. I've got nothing else.
Okay. Yeah, the same community the same person who made that made the sleep cryo chamber that goes in the center of the board.
Cool.
How does that work?
It's just bling. It just sits there. It's non-functional. That's the thing of like if it doesn't add anything to the gameplay, it's just
right. Have you seen some of the things that people have done with this game? If you Etsy Nemesis, if you want to talk about a blinged out game, there's people that have like created like a whole 3D map.
And
I
saw it.
Like, running lights through it and things like this. It's out of control. And someday I would love to have all that and make it look super cool, but it's never going to happen. I have a hard time moving from, we kind of talked a little bit off stage. I have a little bit of an issue when it comes to bling itself, because unless it's like I say, replacing the cardboard piece physically in a game or doing something to enhance it some way, I stay. Yes, take that. I actually don't use as much bling as you think I probably should. I have a tendency to really stick to the core of what it is, and unless it's come with like a whole Kickstarter package of 19 boxes, I usually don't go past that because especially when I'm recording, I want people to feel like what they're gonna get from the experience if she doesn't want me to do the 3D mat. No,
Robin's laying into you right now. Like,
no, I have a friend of mine that always said. I had a friend of mine that always said that Robin is the foil to all of my plans.
By now it would have been world domination.
That's right. So when I record, I like people to feel what they're seeing as the core experience of the game if they were to actually just go to the store and pick it up. Is what I like them to feel like. Because but on the flip side, if I do use something that's from a Kickstarter, it's like, oh, I got this from a Kickstarter, or hey, I did this. So I don't have any problems showing everything from a Kickstarter out on the board, having people see it. But when it comes to, like, for example, Robinson Crusoe, let's say I pick up like 3D objects or something like this that didn't come with like, I know they did like a box that gave you all those awesome things.
Yeah.
But for example, these things, I probably wouldn't use them in a playthrough, but I'd use them outside because I don't want people to get a false impression of what a game is from like what they're going to
get. Yeah. There's one which ties with that, and I'll let you talk about that in a second. But there's one thing that Bairnt does have that is unnecessary bling. And it travels between him and Colin's house, and Robin has been trying to get rid of it forever.
Giant Cthulhu.
That is not necessary bling. That is a component of the game.
What do you use it for in the game?
There's a mission that involves that character that you move around on him and things like that.
But you can't move on him. You move on the board, right?
No, you actually physically go on his arm. You go on his head. You go on his legs.
Okay.
Kind of.
That does feel good. Jonathan's an interesting point.
Fail. I win.
Jonathan has an interesting point. He says, "You love blinging my favorite games, although I did paint my War of the Rings miniatures, which made them unbearable sticky. So he replaced them with wooden cubes, cylinders, and meeples. Is that bling?"
Yes. that is smart bling.
That's smart bling, yeah. So I think that ties into what I focus on when it comes to bling. Like, to me, I love bling where you take an existing wooden component or whatever it is and replace it with something else. It has the same functionality, same purpose in the game. It doesn't take anything away from the experience. That is cool. Unnecessary bling is when you add something to the game and it takes away from that experience. And that is what bothers me when I get that stuff. And so,
example.
You want to do the example? So we were talking about this before we started. Like Derek's like, there's no unnecessary bling out there. I'm like, well, let me show you something. Exhibit A.
Oh yeah, I got Exhibit A right here.
This thing shut down my entire argument in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You've got this too, Bairnt. I know that. Yours is painted though, or partially painted.
Partially.
So this is a tower for Assassin's Creed, the board game. Actually, the game, love the game. In the game, you're supposed to climb onto a tower, and then you can jump off like you do in the video game to bale hay. Now, this is ginormous, and it's got space for the miniatures on top, but
it serves no purpose.
Yeah. What are you talking about? It serves a purpose. Come on, Canje. You can put your
guy. It serves no purpose. Where's your bale of hay? Where's your bale of hay?
You can climb the tower and you're on there. And then when you jump off into the hay, you can recreate it.
Exactly. Where's your bale of hay?
On the board. Oh, I got a mini for that too. I got a mini for the hay.
Yeah. So
I got a hay mini.
That one I think is unnecessary.
Hey mini, how's it going?
It's so big and it kind of takes away from the view around it. Like I think Marcel did this in that game, which was really cool. He actually made raised tiles so you can tell which ones are the roofs, which ones are on the floor level.
Cool.
That's cool. That adds to it, makes it easy to see. That provides a function in addition to the bling, which is really fun. This one replaces a component, but it replaces a component and unfortunately it blocks a lot of the view, and it's kind of hard to use because it's so big. I think if they took that and shrunk it down, it'd be a lot more manageable, I would say.
I used it in my playthrough, Steve. Eat it.
I had it on the stream at one point.
Now, bling that is functional.
Yes.
Is this.
For sure.
The Tower for Frostbite.
Yeah.
So it's
the other one is the Dark Tower that has it in the middle.
Yeah,
yep,
the same thing with this. Yep. It is functional, it provides value, and it is part of the game. It is completely necessary for the gameplay. I don't think you can really replace this with anything.
No.
Like you need I don't know a way to replace that if you're saying I don't want this thing, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
I still like jumping off into the thing. I think it's necessary.
You're not winning this one, Bairnt. You're not winning this one. It is unnecessary.
Right here. This is necessary.
Freaking tower. You don't look like freaking tower thing.
Just for that, staying here the rest of the stream.
I know I'm going to pick on some of my favorite games right now because they hasn't necessarily Bling. The other one that I can pull out is V-Sabotage. So in the game, you do get these tokens and for each character, and there's basically 4 states in the game.
Mm-hmm.
There is I'm bleeding out, I'm stealth mode, I'm visible, and then I'm in a disguise. So you got 4 states. You have 2 tokens, double-sided.
Okay.
So if I get visible, I flip a token over. If I become stealthy, I flip back over. So it's easy to trigger that, and then you replace with the other one on whenever that happens. Now they made miniatures for the game.
Okay.
So how do you represent with miniatures? Now you have this red ring you have to put around them, the base of the miniature when you get visible, and when you can become stealth again, remove it. And then you lay down when you're wounded, and then you have to grab another miniature to represent you in a disguise. And like it works, but to me that's unnecessary, and it takes away from the tokens. Which yes, it's not 3D, it's not cool, but it's a better functionality when I'm playing the game because the purpose of me playing the game is to enjoy the game itself and not necessarily do this other extraneous stuff.
Okay.
So it adds to that, and it pulls me out of the game more for that purpose. Now, having said that, I've seen a lot of comments online that people thought the game is way improved with miniatures, which is interesting. It goes against what I was saying because it added to the experience for people. It was a value to people.
So we had an interesting discussion about that last night.
Yeah.
Which was, I was wondering if I got Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon comes with 10 billion minis, and my question was, how much does miniatures add to your game? Right, and let me say it with this. Let me add this caveat on. If I was to give you a token with an image of your character on it, would that not provide the same value as a miniature? And Bairnt, I want to ask you that too, because you're a miniature painter, you enjoy that stuff. So if you had, instead of having a mini for Oathsworn, I have one of those circular tokens with like a large one with the image of your character on it, would you still enjoy the game as you do with your miniature?
I have to process all this. This is like the new episode. This is things I don't think about normally.
What? Well, I'll answer this question real quick. Jonathan said his most common bling is dice. The D6 in most games are so bland, stuff like Elder Dice or Eldritch Horror. That's an easy one to bling. That's a good one for sure. Just replace with better dice. So,
which I have done.
Yeah, I've done
I saw another question for me up there.
There was one from Jan. I'll answer real quick. Yes, Canji's here. We are doing Marvel United later today.
Gamerpalooza.
Sure. It's happening.
Yep.
Once every month, either the first or second weekend. Gamerpalooza. Once every month.
Me thinks you don't even appreciate Assassin's Creed.
I would not like the game less. There's your answer.
Okay.
Case in point, I'm a big fan of Machina Arcana. I could use miniatures to replace those cardboard standees. I don't. I enjoy the game. If I had cardboard standees for Oathsworn, I would probably still enjoy the game equally. I think it would be, it's the whole presence of it. Like the whole, because my games are table hogs, and it's really neat to see that whole presence of this game across the entire table, as opposed to just all flat on the ground on it with like maybe.
I mean, some race things work. I'm saying, like, I'm not saying take away the trees. I'm saying more like the mini heavy piece, and I'll answer Dan's one in a second, because I go with something like Robinson Crusoe. No minis. You have the circular tokens with the images on.
It's not difficult. Put me back on YouTube and I will tell you what I think.
Okay. I think we're back on.
Are we back on?
No.
No, not yet? I thought it was. YouTube should still be going.
Yeah, it is. People are still there going like, what?
Are we on
Yeah, see, it's spinning. It's still going, and you're still live.
Oh, I'm still live?
Yeah, the only thing that shut off was OBS. YouTube is still going live, so we're fine. We're back.
We're back. Looks like we're back.
Oh, hey, we're back.
Woo, sorry about that, guys.
Bairnt was ripping me a new one off stream, so y'all missed that whole one, but he's about to do it right now live on stream.
Canje was ripping
sorry about that. We got
apart.
A power surge.
And we were both ripping Steve apart just for the heck of it.
Yeah, sorry guys, it was a power surge and I lost everything for a moment. We had to boot everything back up. So, okay. Where were we? You were ripping apart Crusoe.
No, I wasn't ripping apart Crusoe. I was proving my point that Robinson Crusoe works without miniatures. And I feel that so here's this nebulous moment where I have to step out, where the broad picture, you don't need any of it. You don't need the board game. You want to have it. So it's a luxury hobby.
Yeah.
Now, let's step into past that zone.
Mm-hmm.
And we're saying that we're playing the board games on the table. I'll use Zombicide.
Mm-hmm.
Or any come on game.
Mm-hmm.
Insert come on game name here. You're playing any of those games and you have 10 billion miniatures. In those cases, those 10 billion miniatures are garnering more money from you because they are not necessary, only because you can have a different, I'm not saying meeples. I think when people think of not having miniatures, they think meeples. So therefore, meeples don't feel thematic or give them that in-depth feel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying if you had something with an image of the creature on it that represents that creature,
mm-hmm.
that is just as good and less expensive for you, and you can still feel thematic with that game.
This is true, but there's one problem, Canje.
Okay.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. I would like you to have. I'd like to see a percentage of Kickstarters that were actually backed because they decided to throw minis onto it versus Kickstarters that said, "Oh, we're just gonna have cardboard cutout pieces."
Well, now to counter that, have you, in those exact same Kickstarters, you've heard a lot of people say it's too expensive. Do you have a standee only version? And when people say no, they end up backing it anyway. But the people don't care, and they want a standee version because it's more affordable.
Correct, but they still backed it.
Yeah.
The other thing is
I would like to say that there's probably a lot of games out there. I mean, I shouldn't say I would have, but there's the genres themselves are so done. I mean, there's a lot. There's not much left. I shouldn't say left, but a lot of, like, for example, dungeon crawlers. I mean, every dungeon, like I've always said, there's something that one of these games is doing that I don't have in another game, but it's starting to become far and in between. And having that aesthetic presence really makes the game more enjoyable at that point. And that's the next step, is what you need. Because if you're just going to keep getting dungeon crawler after dungeon crawler after dungeon crawler, and I'm just going to use, like, I'm using paint bottles as my guys moving around, your only thing you're looking at then is potentially, like I say, I'm looking for a new mechanic, but I like having those miniatures to make it look good, to be able to make it feel like I'm there, to give, like, this intense, like, come on, really? A standee?
Some things. I'm saying something. And matter of fact,
I wish Will was here. Will is also a strong believer of the standee.
Well, hold on. Matter of fact, Oathsworn has a standee version of that very same rat, and people play the game and enjoy it just as fine without that massive creature. So
I would like to see the amount of people that have that rat versus the real rat.
I think we could draw a good metric on that to where a lot of people don't have, and a lot of people have bought it. We could probably ask Jamie to get those metrics, but I can actually guarantee that that you will find it may not be like astronomically, but it's close to where people have, even when they post on the Oathsworn Facebook page. A lot of the pictures are of the standee version and not the miniature version of the rat that you see parents sharing those pictures are. Someone posted on there, well, what about Too Many Bones boring? Too Many Bones is boring without minis.
And so what happens?
Okay, so my whole thing is if you want to talk about games that that don't have miniatures. Sorry. If you want to talk about miniatures that are games
never getting a copy from that company. So much for your Skyrim.
If you want to talk
game
about
are they
games
doing? Are they doing
that don't have miniatures that are fun, my number one game, Mage Knight, is another one that doesn't. It has one mini, you. The rest of the game is all tokens.
That's the hero clicks though, or the clicks though too. Mage Knight.
Castles.
That's an extra buy-in, right? Because I don't have those on mine.
The clicks are part of the game.
That's part of the game. That's like WizKids. Come on, Steve. Those are WizKids' patented things.
I call them hero clicks too because I'm so used to Bairnt. So.
I got gypped then. I don't think I have. I don't think I have those. I think I just have the cities. Yeah, it's like I have the cities.
But damage, you go click.
But the monsters themselves are not minis. So you're saying that the game is diminished because there's no minis in it for monsters?
No.
Or if you say, like I said, my game favorite of all time is Gloomy Killforth. 0 minis, all cards. I love it. I know a lot of people don't, and a lot of people say it'll suck. I don't care. It's my favorite game. But I think that Robinson Crusoe is another example. There are tons of games out there that are really great reviewed games that don't contain minis and they don't break immersion.
I don't think Bling is ever going to make a game better or worse. I think it's just going to enhance your experience, because if you watch, have you seen Colin's playthrough of Mage Knight?
Yes.
Am I muted? Oh, sorry. Have you seen Canje or Colin's playthrough of Mage Knight since he's got his upgraded version of everything?
I haven't seen the new one.
I haven't.
Not the new one. The old one.
He and I both did a playthrough once he got his upgraded version of stuff, and it looks absolutely phenomenal because you actually have like a tomb sitting on there. You've got like whenever there was a mountain, you'd have you could make the mountain ranges on the board, and it looks. And when you're done, you can pan it back, and it's like you've kind of created this world.
And that's beautiful Bling for it. That I don't.
Well, like I said, you don't. But you're saying you don't need it. No, you don't need it.
But it makes
the game more It makes the game look cooler, and therefore, in some aspects, you could enjoy it more. Are you going to enjoy it less? Probably not. But would you enjoy it more? Sure, why not?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons. You can play Theater of the Mind all you want, but once you're able to get some for example, I've got like Dungeons and Lasers where I'm able to form the area of the dungeon they're in. And they can move around on that board with characters and see the monster and go get it. It not only helps tell you give you an idea of where spatially things are going on in Dungeons and Dragons, but it also is so much cooler to have that in front of them and really enhances what they're planning to do and how they're able to tactically do stuff instead of trying to explain everything. And it really looks awesome to have that done. So I don't know. I think I don't think a Bling should never enhance or should never change how good a game is.
Right.
But it should really make you either want to get that game to the table more often, or make you just have a better have a more enjoyable time with it.
And I think I want to clarify to say I'm not
saying Bones does not need miniatures. They actually do have miniatures. They have them in that burn cycle, and they had the best miniature I've ever seen. They magnetized them to those things. That was amazing.
Well, so
I don't know burn cycle anymore.
So my whole thing is I want to clarify. I'm not trying to say that Bling is bad.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm trying to say is I'm wondering if the amount of stuff that gets packed into a game is really adding anything for you, especially the ungodful amount of minis that get packed into games. Where it can be if it's something for me, Oathsworn is there is these every boss is different. There's a lot of minis to it, but each boss is kind of different, so it makes that unique feel. But when you get to the zombie sides, right, where there are here is 80 of the exact same creature. 80 of them. 80 walkers, runners, they don't call them fatties anymore. What do they call them? I forgot what they call them. Whatever they're called now, because they're, but 80 here's a whole bunch of these things. I don't see the need. That's all. The want. Should I say? Because it feels like it's just it's not adding anything. But if you bling out your game, get what Colin did, and I think that's great.
So to me, that's not a necessary bling, because if I had a token or a miniature, it serves the exact same purpose in the game. It doesn't affect what I'm doing. Even if it's a token, I'm still moving it. If it's a miniature, I'm still moving it. It's not going to affect anything in the game. So to me, that's not unnecessary bling. It's bling, but it's not unnecessary.
Yeah.
So to me, anything like I get down back to anything functional is different. Like Bairnt was talking about like the Mage Knight thing. So one game that I'm going all in on is the Company of Heroes, and that one you've got buildings and you have this is a World War II type game. Buildings and you have sandbags and tanks and everything is plastic in that. It is amazing. Giant flags where you can change who controls the control points. The buildings themselves actually open up, so you can have a fog of war.
They have use.
They actually have a functionality too if you want to play that way. And they're on top. They're designed to hold the miniatures. And the miniatures actually you have to keep dice with them, but they come with these plastic trays where you can put all the status you need for them, and they move as one piece.
Ooh.
So it's blinged out, but it's blinged out with function, and that is what I like in bling.
That's fair.
I don't want to lose functionality to add something more immersive to the game. That's what it comes down to. Okay. Make it so it's as least as functional as it originally was, or even better, improve it. And another one I'll get to is Marvel United.
Okay.
Bling for that one is the playmat.
The minis.
Well, the minis, yeah, fine,
but the playmat,
the minis you get anyway. You're not
The
playmat is additional cost.
Yeah.
That one, I was surprised. I felt like added functionality to the game because it was easier to set up.
The timeline
and the storyline, the timeline.
Mm.
You need being able to see that is huge for the game.
Yeah.
And add a lot to the experience for me.
Yeah.
So like. There's obviously a very subjectivity to it.
This is a heavy subjectivity comment. This is a heavy subjectivity comment, and I think that's the thing. I bling out my stuff a lot. So pot calling kettle black. I think it's just more. I think it's just more. I wanted to raise the thought that crossed my mind, which I talked to you about yesterday, where it was at the end of the day. What's being taken away from this game just because it's not, when we bling that, when our minis considered bling in the long run.
The playmat does help set up beyond for sure. On that one.
I think people have to also define bling. Like I said, I define bling as something that doesn't come with what would have normally came with the game, including Kickstarter content. Mm-hmm. That's what I consider bling. So if I'm going to play Arkham Horror and I decide to get upgraded tokens for it for Arkham Horror LCG, let's say, that's now bling. Okay. If those tokens would have came with the Arkham Horror core set, that wouldn't be bling anymore. That would just be something that's come with the game and is able to be shown off. If minis come with the Kickstarter, that's technically not bling. That's part of what they plan to do for the game. So, I mean, it just depends on where you draw your line. That's the deal. Now, of course, we're seeing a lot of talk about sleeving. Is that bling? I just think that's I think that's your... I think that's, for me, sleeving is my way of making sure I can play that game over and over again without knowing what's potentially coming next, because when I play games with my gaming group, we have like drinks, we got food, we got like snacks. And so I need those sleeves in the cards because I'd hate to have these things all like disintegrate in front of my eyes all of a sudden, or I think
I'm coming to Bairnt's house. I'm coming to Bairnt's house with Cheetos.
yes, that's the deal. I think also where was it?
Because it's not changing anything. You're just protecting existing.
You're protecting your component.
I mean, it's a different purpose.
And like Pencil Polly said, which is good to see you. Thank you for joining. I don't have a problem with standees if that was their plan. For example, Machina Arcana. I think it's just fine with its standees. That was its plan. We got them. That's great. But I think in this day and age, it's also becoming harder for people, like I've said before, to have their Kickstarters come to fruition with standees. We've seen multiple iterations. We've seen the Ghost Betwixt have to go to a reprint, a redo. We saw Rogue Angels is now trying to maybe implement some kind of miniatures because it was all going to be standees and it failed. It didn't get the thing because I don't think people, when they don't see those minis and they see the price point, they go, what am I paying for? Yeah. And they don't understand sometimes the cost to make these games in itself. Minis, from what it looks like, don't seem to, in the long run, be I don't know how it all works, but it seems like miniatures give you the ability to raise the price of the game with only raising the cost of making it less. I could be wrong about this, but it really seems like it, because it seems more games that have these minis have a better chance of succeeding on Kickstarter and GameFound and things like this than those that don't, that are trying to run the same type of genre. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. I think that the philosophical thought of why that is because people expect people can't draw that, and I don't want to speak for people, right? It's just more, I'm wondering if is it that people can't draw that immersion without having the mini, and that speaks to a different issue, right? That's a symptom of a different problem.
We talked about this last night though, because we wound up playing Keep the Heroes Out last night.
Yeah.
There's no miniatures in that game. It's got standees and very cute. Not standees, sorry. Meeples.
Yeah.
Very cute meeples for that regard. And we're talking about how thematic and immersive that game is, but that's because of how the cards represent the theme, and even the cards themselves are very simplistic in what they do.
Yeah.
It's like move, attack, spawn guys, really is the actions. But how he mixed them together makes it feel different and thematic, which is interesting. So like, I don't think miniatures aren't the only way to do the theme for sure. But for an immersive experience, being able to see that in the 3-dimensional space, I think does add quite a bit of value to people. Because I agree.
Well, and I once again I say, like, that's a different philosophical discussion of a symptom of a different problem. If I am not able, if the thematic feel, I don't want to say if I'm not able, damn it. If the thematic feel of a game is lost because I don't have a sculpted landscape, then I'm curious about that, and I want to ask.
No, I mean, like we've said, that to me wouldn't change how I enjoy the game. It just gives it's enjoyment versus enhance.
And I think that's to your point, Bairnt. I think I'm kind of playing it to your point, is that you say minis enhance the game. It doesn't make it enjoyable. You can have that same enjoyment without them, but the enhancement really helps with that. And I agree with you completely.
Also, game, it also comes down to a game by game basis at some point. You're referencing Keep the Heroes Out. Keep the Heroes Out is the art style itself is good for what for that particular game. It works really well. It really coincides with the way it works. Like everything that goes together in that game work really well together. And so I don't think that game should have miniatures, because I think it works better with the way the card art is, and the art style of the game I think works really well for meeples.
Yeah.
But what happens when someone, and to bring up exactly what you said before, where your research showed that people are struggling because they have to read Rogue Angels, for instance. Great game. But nobody wants to back it because there's not 10 billion minis with it. Once again, to me, that's a symptom of a different problem. Because my thing is, if they're saying that the game is not fun, or I don't want anything to do with this because there's no minis, that's a different issue. And if it's like, okay, well, that has to come baked into the game, or I don't care, what's happening there? That's a different talk. That's a different talk.
That's a good topic, and my son is very much that, because I'm like, you want to play a game? Yeah, I'll play a game. How about this game? I want to play this game. His first question is, does it have miniatures in it? I'm like, no. I don't want to play that one. Like, oh, it's a fun game, though.
And so you won't give a game a shot. And I'll just touch on it, then I'll stop talking, and Bairnt, you can jump in. But you won't give the game a shot because there's no minis on it.
I will never not play a game.
Well, not you. I'm saying, like,
son, for example,
for people to what you were talking about when you said Rogue Angels had to cancel and come back because there wasn't minis on it. Why was that an issue? Right?
Well, then, like you said, that's a different point in itself, because that really is just like more of a pricing issue and a consumer Kickstarter issue like that. Than it is the actual game itself. It's where your price point hits at that point. That becomes more of a topic of where the prices fall for Kickstarters. That where's your bang for your buck? Where's your value? How do people put in value? Stuff like that. So it's miniatures to people, I think what they like you said, is a different problem, but I think it enhances what people expect value of a game. Does a miniature enhance the value of a game? Not really. It's all about what the game itself is providing. Like you said, if you can take the game and play the game, with paint bottles and like nothing else and enjoy the game, then you have a good game. If you need the bling to make the game, then we went the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what we're all saying in the roundabout way.
Yeah.
Is the deal.
Yeah. It was just a thought I had. Yeah.
I mean, interesting point Tiny has here. Back in the day, did you like taking your BB gun outside and shoot at paper drawings, or is it more fun setting up all those army men to enhance the experience?
I didn't have a BB gun.
I didn't either, but like
I didn't live in that neighborhood. I lived in a neighborhood where that wasn't good to have.
Now, on the flip side, I will always take minis over a non-mini game for sure. I will always add the extra.
Well,
but of course, like I said, if it's not something that comes with the Kickstarter or with the core experience, it's harder for me to pay that extra money. Even if it's in the Kickstarter, it's like, hey, it's an add-on for $10. You can get this. That's totally fine. But if it's, for example, like the Arkham Horror Investigators box set or something from Fantasy Flight, I don't think I'll ever own it. One, because I don't know where I can get it, and two, it's just not part of that experience that they created originally. So it's harder for me to like reach out and grab that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And so minis are always going to be important. Minis, I'm trying to, Marcel says I am slipping, and that is not the deal. I am minis a galore. I love the minis. That is the deal. I will always have minis in my game if I can. Darn it, I had one other thing. I forgot what it was. I fail.
So I can speak to Stars of Icarios. I bought the miniatures for that one because the facing of that game matters, and I thought it would be easier to tell the facing on a miniature because it has to rotate than a standee. The standee is two-sided, and sometimes it's, if you're on the plane, or the plane is perpendicular to you, it's hard to tell, right? So, minor thing, but like for that reason, like, yeah, I think I decided to go up for that one.
The standee version of that does the same exact thing. There's an arrow.
It does.
So you could just
turn it's not an add-on. It's just
it does, for sure.
The game comes with standees.
The what?
The game comes with standees. The miniature pack was like part of the extra.
To me, I would have liked it better if it was a token, honestly, with an arrow on it. So you see,
like a hexagonal token. A hexagonal token would be better.
The visibility changes. Based upon your static seating. So there's
Anyway,
I remember what I was going to say.
And like Bairnt said, we're all saying the same thing. We're all saying the same thing. I think I just wanted to pose the question. I will back a Kickstarter with minis. Don't think I'm anti-mini. It's just more, I want to pose the question of, a lot of people are saying Kickstarter is getting more expensive. They're getting harder to make. A lot of companies are going out of business, and it's getting difficult. And I just pose the question of, what if your Kickstarter didn't come with 10 billion standees? Would it be less expensive?
I remember what I remember what I was going to say, Canje. Fireworks. That was the deal. It was fireworks. I was never allowed to have BB guns when I was young, or like Nerf guns or anything like that. So we would just use fireworks, would light them and throw them at the army men. That's what we did.
You're destructive.
I didn't have a BB gun.
You had explosives.
Well, I had fireworks. We'd get fireworks, we'd light them, we'd toss them, and like, you see your guys go flying.
Bairnt says, I don't need a BB gun. I deal with C4.
That's right. That's right. When in doubt, blow them up.
It's not about precision shot. It's about how many you can take out in one go.
Hey, what you mean like this?
So,
good stuff.
All right. Anyway, I just wanted to pose the question. We went off on a huge tangent.
Like normal.
Bling is good, but we have levels of where we feel where it's necessary, where it's not necessary, that type of thing.
That's right. Explosives.
Cool. I think we're gonna wrap this one up. So because as you noticed that Derek is here.
He can actually touch me.
I can touch him. Not passing through.
Actually,
what's going on?
I'm gonna break the LMD, man.
So we are going to be doing Game of Palooza today, and in fact, immediately after this, we're going to prep and start a game of Frostpunk. So, Derek's going to teach me that one. We played a little bit last night, but we play again. So it should be fun times.
Do not leave your children in a winter apocalypse with Steve as the leader. Don't do it. He'll kill them all.
Spoilers. No, it was fun. So we do that in a little bit here. And we got more content coming. We'll do Marvel United today as well, and we probably keep the Heroes out as well. Probably sneak that one in. So
yep, a lot of games to play.
All games. Bairnt, what you got coming up?
I'm gonna be sending some lit fireworks to Marcel this week. That's one thing I'm doing. No, I'm kidding. Wednesday, actually, Colin and I are doing Oathsworn. We're doing the Encounter 10 or Mission 10. Sorry, the story part. We normally do Mondays, but due to conflicts of scheduling, we're redoing it on Wednesday. I think I actually forgot to run that by my wife. She's hearing about it for the first time right now. And then most likely I'm going to be doing a painting episode then on Monday if I can. And I'm hoping my painting episode will involve some new minis. I did get some shipping updates for a few games, so I'm hoping that some of those will come before Monday. Otherwise, I might push the painting episode out to Thursday. We'll see if anything actually comes. As for that, my ISS Vanguard next video drops today. I'll be recording my next ISS Vanguard video tomorrow on Monday, which is not tomorrow. So that'll be coming out hopefully that next week. Colin also got ISS Vanguard, so both of us are playing up through the second planet, and if we enjoy it enough, we're hoping to bring that to the live streaming coming after Oathsworn as potential vote. Well, we're going to put like 3 different campaign-y type games out there for the community to vote for on my channel as to which one they want to see us play, and then whichever one they don't vote for, we might play on the side, but the other ones will play on top of things. So that's the deal. Yes.
All right, cool.
What did my wife say?
Last time Colin was here, got to witness the bloodbath. It's me trying to help our 7th grader with algebra.
Yeah, that was something else. See, he was setting up Eldritch Horror for like an hour. I don't know if anybody's tried to set that game up. And in the meantime, we're trying to help my son with a algebra test he had the next day. It was pretty awesome. Anyway, what do you guys got going on? You got Game-a-Palooza, and then you're also doing what else?
I'll mention this because it affects all of us coming up. We're looking at the 19th. Still need to confirm that.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I confirmed the 19th.
Okay, it's confirmed.
Right now. It is confirmed.
We are going to have most of the One Stop Co-op Shop crew here with Derek as well joining in. We're going to do a Game of the Year chat. So we're going to talk about the best of 2022, some surprises, the most disappointments, stuff like that. It'll be a fun chat, culminating all of 2022. We're going to each name our Game of the Years. So.
Spoiler, Bairnt's myth.
Yes, it is shipping. I should be getting the next thing for Myth here very shortly. I'm super excited for that. So it's coming the year 2025.
Cool. Well, thanks myself for joining us. Thanks everyone. Yeah, we'll be giving the year. I think I know what the game of the year already. So, but yes, we're gonna drop off here. We got a couple minutes. We're gonna prep Frostpunk and we'll be back shortly. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you at the next stop.
Take care, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.